Welcome, history enthusiasts and curious minds. Today, we're delving deep into the turbulent times of the Viking Age, a fascinating era of seafaring, exploration, and conquest. We will explore the lives and legacies of the top 10 Viking kings. These men were warriors, rulers, explorers, and sometimes even poets. Their tales are woven with the threads of adventure, conflict, ambition, and resilience. From the shores of Scandinavia to far-flung lands like England, Ireland, and even parts of North America, these Viking kings left indelible marks on history. So, buckle up for a thrilling journey back in time as we unveil the extraordinary lives of Ragnar Lothbrok, Harald Hardrada, Erik the Red, Leif Erikson, Bjorn Ironside, Sweyn Forkbeard, Ivar the Boneless, Harald Bluetooth, Rollo of Normandy, and Cnut the Great. Let's dive into the saga of these legendary figures and uncover the true essence of the Viking spirit. Number 1. Ragnar Lothbrok. Ragnar Lothbrok, whose name translates to Ragnar Hairy Breeches, is a figure steeped in mystery. His existence is debated among historians, with some seeing him as a legendary figure, while others argue he may have been a real historical personage. But whether myth or man, the saga of Ragnar Lothbrok has captivated audiences for centuries and continues to do so today. Born supposedly around the 9th century, if we follow the chronicles, Ragnar was a Viking chieftain and a renowned warrior. His purported deeds span a wide geographical area, from the shores of Scandinavia to the courts of England and France. His daring raids and exploits have been recorded in various sagas, poems, and historical texts, painting a vivid picture of the fearless Viking hero. One of the most famous tales of Ragnar involves his encounter with a giant serpent. As the saga goes, Ragnar heard of a monstrous serpent guarding the lands of a king in Sweden. Undeterred, Ragnar fashioned himself a pair of shaggy breeches as protection against the serpent's venomous bite. He successfully slayed the beast, and thus earned his epithet Lothbrok, or Hairy Breeches. Ragnar is also said to have raided France, even laying siege to Paris according to some accounts. His prowess in battle and his strategic genius are often highlighted in these tales, marking him as a formidable opponent and a respected leader. Yet Ragnar's saga is not only one of battles and raids. He is also said to have been a husband and a father. His wives, including the shield maiden Lagertha and the noblewoman Aslog, are central characters in his tale. His sons, including the famous Ivar the Boneless, Bjorn Ironside, and Sigurd Snake in the Eye, are said to have continued his legacy, each leaving their own mark on the Viking world. The end of Ragnar's saga is as dramatic as his life. According to legend, he met his end in England, captured by King Eolla of Northumbria, and thrown into a pit of venomous snakes. His death is said to have sparked a wave of Viking invasions into England, as his sons sought revenge for their father's brutal death. The tale of Ragnar Lothbrok is a captivating one, filled with adventure, romance, and vengeance. Yet, as with many figures from this period, it is difficult to separate fact from fiction. The stories of Ragnar may well be an amalgamation of several Viking chieftains' lives, their deeds and exploits woven together to create a legendary figure that embodies the Viking spirit. But whether Ragnar Lothbrok was a real man or a legend, his story offers us a fascinating glimpse into the Viking Age. It's a tale that captures the imagination, transporting us to a time of longships and warriors, of sagas sung in smoky halls, of a world in flux, and a people carving their place in history. And so, as we delve into the tale of Ragnar Lothbrok, we're not just exploring the life of a single figure, but a rich tapestry of history, culture, and imagination. Number 2. King Harald Hardrada. Born in 1015 in Norway, Harald was a member of the royal family, the son of King Sigurd Sr. From an early age, Harald was embroiled in the politics and conflicts of his time. His half-brother, Olaf Haraldsson, was a significant influence in his life, shaping his early experiences of battle and leadership. Following Olaf's defeat and death at the Battle of Stiklestad in 1030, Harald, still a teenager, was forced into exile. This marked the beginning of an extraordinary journey. He first found refuge in the court of Yaroslav the Wise in Kievan Rus, where he learned much about governance and warfare. But soon, his sights turned to the riches and glory of the Byzantine Empire. In Constantinople, Harald joined the Varangian Guard, the elite force serving the Byzantine emperor. His military skill and ambition quickly propelled him through the ranks. He served in the Middle East, taking part in campaigns in places like modern-day Iraq, honing his military skills and gaining wealth and reputation. But the land of his birth called him back. In 1045, Harald returned to Norway, bringing with him the wealth and knowledge he had accumulated in his travels. His aim was clear: to claim the Norwegian throne. By 1047, through a mix of diplomacy, strategic alliances, and military force, Harald became the sole ruler of Norway. As king, Harald Hardrada proved to be an effective and determined ruler. He enacted laws, promoted trade, and worked to strengthen his kingdom. However, his ambition stretched beyond the borders of Norway. Harald sought to revive the North Sea Empire that his predecessor, Cnut the Great, had established. He had his sights on Denmark and ultimately England. In 1066, Harald launched his invasion of England. This was the same year that William of Normandy, another claimant to the English throne, was planning his own invasion. Harald's campaign, however, was cut short at the Battle of Stamford Bridge, where he met a ferocious English army led by King Harold Godwinson. In a fierce battle, Harald Hardrada was killed, marking the end of his ambitious quest and, symbolically, the end of the Viking Age. Harald Hardrada's life was one of constant action, aspiration, and audacity. From his early days in Norway, through his adventures in the East, to his reign as king, and finally his bold attempt to conquer England, Harald's story is a testament to the spirit of the Viking Age. His life also illuminates the broader dynamics of this period, such as the shifting power structures within Scandinavia, the relationship between the Viking world and places like Byzantium and Kievan Rus, and the complex interplay of diplomacy, warfare, and personal ambition. Harald Hardrada's saga is a testament to the reach and impact of the Vikings. His story, like the man himself, is larger than life, capturing the imagination with its blend of adventure, ambition, and historical import. As we delve into the life and times of Harald Hardrada, we are also exploring a fascinating period in history, a time of change, conflict, and cultural exchange. So, let's continue our journey into the past, unraveling the intricate tapestry of the Viking Age through the life of this towering figure. Harald's influence went beyond his death at the Battle of Stamford Bridge. His military campaigns and naval exploits contributed to the technological and tactical advances in warfare during this era. His rule in Norway brought about significant developments in law and trade, creating a lasting legacy in the country's socio-political fabric. Harald's time as part of the Varangian Guard is especially noteworthy. The Guard was a unit composed primarily of Norsemen serving the Byzantine Emperor. His experiences in the East likely influenced his strategies and administrative reforms back home in Norway. This underscores the fluidity of cultural and knowledge exchange during this period, with the Vikings influencing and being influenced by the regions they came in contact with. Harold's attempt to claim the English throne in 1066, though unsuccessful, was a significant event in the history of England. It can be seen as a catalyst for the events of that fateful year, which culminated in the Norman conquest, altering the course of English history forever. The saga of Harald Hardrada is an intriguing mix of personal ambition, military exploits, and political strategy. His story encapsulates the essence of the Viking Age, a period marked by exploration, expansion, and cultural exchange. Harald's life, filled with adventures from Norway to Russia, from Byzantium to England, exemplifies the spirit of his time, a spirit characterized by a relentless quest for power, glory, and wealth. Number 3. King Erik Thorvaldsson. A man whose fiery hair and temper were as legendary as his seafaring exploits. He was a pioneer, a settler, a man who looked beyond the horizon and ventured into unknown territories. This is the saga of Erik Thorvaldsson, better known to the world as Erik the Red. Born in Norway around 950 AD, Erik's life was shaped by conflict from the very beginning. His father, Thorvald Osvaldsson, was exiled from Norway for manslaughter, leading the family to settle in western Iceland, a region that was still relatively new and rough around the edges. Erik inherited his father's fiery temperament and knack for trouble. As a young man, he was involved in several disputes, which escalated to the point of manslaughter. This led to his own expulsion from Iceland around 980 AD. But rather than a setback, Erik saw this as an opportunity. He set his sights on the land to the west, a place spoken of by seafarers but yet to be permanently settled, Greenland. Erik's journey to Greenland was no small feat. It was a voyage that required significant preparation and resources, not to mention the courage to venture into the unknown. Yet, Erik was undeterred. He spent his years of exile exploring the Greenlandic coast, searching for places that could support a potential Norse colony. His explorations were successful. Erik discovered fjords with fertile land and a climate milder than its name suggested. He returned to Iceland and began promoting this new land he had found. He called it Greenland, a name chosen for its enticing connotations, hoping it would attract settlers. Erik's marketing was effective. Around 985 AD, he led a fleet of 25 ships carrying about 500 men and women to Greenland. Only 14 ships made the journey successfully, but those that arrived set the foundation for 2 Norse settlements on the island's southwestern coast. These settlements would continue for nearly 500 years. As a chieftain of the new Greenland colony, Erik the Red holds a significant place in Viking history. His settlement is considered the first European colony in Greenland, and it was from this colony that further explorations into North America were launched, including those led by his son, Leif Erikson. Erik the Red's story is more than just the tale of a man with a knack for getting into trouble. It's a story of resilience, resourcefulness, and exploration. His decision to venture west, to settle a land unseen, and to convince others to follow him is a testament to the Viking spirit of adventure and exploration. Erik's legacy also extends to his children, most notably Leif Erikson, who continued the tradition of exploration by venturing even further west, to what we now know as North America, a full 500 years before Christopher Columbus. Erik the Red's saga is an example of how the Vikings, driven by necessity, ambition, or simple wanderlust, expanded the known world. His story serves as a reminder of the courage it took to sail into uncharted waters and of the impact those journeys had on the course of history. Number 4. King Leif Erikson. A man who is believed to have set foot on the shores of North America long before Christopher Columbus. a man born into the legacy of the Vikings, a son of Erik the Red. Yes, we're talking about Leif Erikson. Born in Iceland around 970 AD, Leif Erikson was the son of Erik the Red, the notorious founder of the first Norse settlements in Greenland. Growing up, Leif would have heard tales of new lands and sea voyages, of challenges and opportunities, stories that would ultimately shape his destiny. In his early years, Leif sailed to Norway, where he served in the court of King Olaf Tryggvason. It was during this time that he was converted to Christianity, and King Olaf commissioned him to bring the new faith to the settlers in Greenland. However, it was a different mission, not one ordained by any king, that would immortalize Leif Erikson in the annals of history. According to the sagas of Icelanders, Leif had heard of a land far to the west of Greenland, a land discovered by a merchant who had been blown off course. Intrigued by these tales and driven by the Viking spirit of exploration, Leif decided to seek out this land. Leif and his crew set sail into the unknown, and their journey was rewarded. They found a land with dense forests and a moderate climate, a stark contrast to the icy landscapes of Greenland. He called it Vinland because of the wild grapes he found there, a name that attests to the fertility and promise of this new land. Vinland is believed to be located in what is now Newfoundland in Canada, making Leif Erikson the first known European to set foot on North American soil nearly 500 years before Christopher Columbus. While the exact location of Vinland and the extent of Norse exploration into North America is a matter of ongoing research, there's no denying the significance of Leif Erikson's voyage. Leif Erikson's story is a testament to the Viking spirit of adventure and exploration. It's a story that expands our understanding of how the world was connected in the past. His voyage to North America highlights the far-reaching impact of the Viking Age and adds another layer to the rich tapestry of global history. Number 5. King Bjorn Ironside. A man whose name is as legendary as his exploits, a Viking leader who was a formidable warrior and an ambitious explorer, who raided the coasts of Europe with an iron will and a thirst for wealth and power. This is the story of Bjorn Ironside. Bjorn Ironside was a legendary figure who emerged from the age of the Vikings. Born to the infamous Ragnar Lothbrok, a legendary Norse ruler and hero, Bjorn had a lot to live up to. And indeed, he forged his own path, earning a reputation that resonated through the annals of history. Much of Bjorn's life is shrouded in mystery and interwoven with legend. His exploits are recorded in the sagas, where he is portrayed as a formidable warrior and a successful raider. One of his most notable achievements was a legendary raid into the Mediterranean, a venture that showcased the far-reaching influence of the Vikings. Accompanied by another Viking chieftain, Hastin, Bjorn led a fleet of ships on an ambitious journey around the Iberian Peninsula and into the heart of the Mediterranean, a region far removed from the traditional Viking spheres of influence. They raided coastal settlements, looting and causing mayhem, demonstrating the audacity and adaptability of Viking seafarers. One of the most notable and audacious episodes from this raid was the alleged attack on a city they believed to be Rome. Desperate to sack the city, Bjorn and Hastin came up with a ruse. They sent messengers to the city gates, claiming that Hastin was on his deathbed and wished to convert to Christianity. The unsuspecting city dwellers allowed their dying enemy inside, only for Hastin to leap from his coffin, leading his men in a surprise attack. In a twist of irony, the city wasn't Rome, but probably Luna, yet the tale underscores the daring nature of Bjorn's Mediterranean raid. Bjorn Ironside's saga is a testament to the Viking spirit of adventure and exploration, their martial prowess, and their cunning. His exploits serve as a reminder of the far-reaching impact of the Vikings, not just as raiders and warriors, but as explorers and opportunists who ventured far from their homelands. Number 6. King Sweyn Forkbeard. A man who rose from the ranks of Viking nobility to become the king of not one, not two, but 3 nations. A man who played his part in shaping the history of Northern Europe and whose reign marked a pivotal moment in the Viking Age. This is the story of Sweyn Forkbeard. Sweyn Forkbeard was born in the mid-10th century, the son of Harald Bluetooth, the king who united Denmark and brought Christianity to its people. Swen's relationship with his father was strained and fraught with conflict. According to historical sources, Swen rebelled against his father, challenging his rule and his faith. This rebellion was successful, and Swen became the king of Denmark around 985 AD. Swen, however, was not content with ruling Denmark alone. His eyes were set on the riches and lands across the sea. England, with its wealthy monasteries and prosperous towns, was a prime target. The English had been subjected to Viking raids for centuries, but Swen was among the first to turn these raids into a campaign of conquest. His persistent invasions put a significant strain on England. Swen was a formidable enemy, leveraging both his military prowess and his understanding of English politics to his advantage. His strategy paid off. In 1013, Swen was declared King of England, a title that would later be held by his son, Cnut the Great. Swen's reign in England was short-lived as he died in 1014. However, his impact was significant. His invasions marked the beginning of a period known as the Danish Conquest, during which the English crown passed between English and Danish rulers. Swen also claimed the crown of Norway, driving its king Olaf Tryggvason into exile. With this, Sweyn Forkbeard achieved a remarkable feat, ruling over Denmark, England, and Norway. He was a king whose authority and influence reached across the sea, shaping the history of Northern Europe. Number 7. King Ivar the Boneless. A man who, despite his peculiar epithet, was a formidable warrior and a strategic genius. He was a leader whose military campaigns left a lasting mark on the British Isles. We are talking about Ivar the Boneless. The saga of Ivar the Boneless begins with his unusual moniker. The exact reason for his name is a mystery, with theories ranging from a physical disability to a metaphorical description of his abilities as a warrior or leader. Regardless of its origin, the name Ivar the Boneless has echoed through the ages, a testament to the man's enduring legacy. Ivar was one of the sons of the legendary Ragnar Lothbrok, a fact that placed him in the upper echelons of Viking society. Yet, it was his deeds, not his lineage, that earned him his place in history. Ivar was a leader of the Great Heathen Army, a coalition of Viking warriors who launched a large-scale invasion of the British Isles in the 9th century. His military campaigns were marked by strategic brilliance and a ruthlessness that struck fear into the hearts of his enemies. Ivar's most infamous act was the capture and execution of Aella, the king of Northumbria, who is said to have killed Ivar's father Ragnar. Aella's death, reportedly by the gruesome method of the Blood Eagle, was a stark demonstration of Ivar's ruthlessness and his commitment to the Viking tradition of blood vengeance. Ivar's influence extended beyond his military campaigns. He is believed to have ruled over a significant portion of Ireland and parts of Scotland, establishing a Viking presence that would shape the history and culture of these regions for generations to come. The saga of Ivar the Boneless is a journey into a time of conflict and change, a time when the Vikings left their mark on much of Europe. It's a testament to the strategic genius, the military prowess, and the sheer audacity of a man who, despite the mystery surrounding his name, was anything but boneless when it came to pursuing his ambitions. Number 8. King Harald Bluetooth. a man who played a pivotal role in shaping the history of Denmark and beyond, a man known for his unifying power and the adoption of Christianity, whose legacy has surprisingly reached into our modern digital age. This is the story of Harald Bluetooth. Born in the 10th century, Harald Bluetooth was the son of King Gorm the Old, the first historically recognized king of Denmark. Harald's reign began upon his father's death, and it was during this time that he embarked on a mission that would transform Denmark and its people. Harald is most renowned for his successful unification of the various tribes under one rule, forming what we recognize today as the Kingdom of Denmark. This was no small feat in an age marked by tribal divisions and frequent conflicts. But Harald's vision of a united Denmark was not limited to political and territorial unity. In a profound and far-reaching move, Harald adopted Christianity, turning away from the pagan beliefs of his ancestors. He was baptized and set about converting his subjects, laying the foundation for Christianity in Denmark. This was a monumental shift that had lasting cultural and religious implications. Harald's commitment to his new faith was immortalized in stone. He commissioned the construction of massive rune stones, the most famous of which is the Jelling Stone. Inscribed on this stone is a declaration of Harald's achievements, both in unifying Denmark and converting the Danes to Christianity. The Jelling Stone stands today as a testament to Harald's transformative reign. Interestingly, Harald's name has found its way into our everyday lives. The Bluetooth technology that we use to connect our devices is named after him. The logo even combines the Nordic runes of his initials. This choice reflects Harald's role as a unifier, just as Bluetooth technology brings different devices together. Number 9. King Rollo of Normandy. A figure who was not just a Viking but also the founder of a dynasty that would shape the course of European history. A warrior who became a ruler whose descendants would hold sway over kingdoms and empires. This is the tale of Rollo of Normandy. Born in the 9th century, Rollo was a Viking of Norwegian origin. His early life was defined by the classic Viking pursuits of raiding and exploration. The coasts of France, particularly the region of Francia, bore the brunt of these raids. Yet it was in this very region that Rollo would eventually find his destiny. After years of leading his Viking compatriots in raids, Rollo embarked on a different path. In a landmark agreement with King Charles the Simple of West Francia, Rollo pledged to cease his raids, convert to Christianity, and defend the kingdom against other Viking invaders. In return, Rollo was granted the land he and his men had occupied, which would become known as Normandy, the land of the Northmen. As the first Duke of Normandy, Rollo demonstrated his skills not just as a warrior, but also as a leader and a ruler. He established a feudal system of government, maintained a robust defense against Viking incursions, and encouraged his followers to integrate with the local populace. This integration resulted in a unique blend of Viking and Frankish cultures, which would come to characterize Normandy. The legacy of Rollo extended far beyond his lifetime. His descendants, the Dukes of Normandy, would play significant roles in European history. The most famous of these was William the Conqueror, Rollo's great-great-great-grandson, who would go on to conquer England and become its king. Rollo's story is a fascinating tale of transformation from a Viking raider to the founder of a dynasty. It provides insights into the Viking Age, a time of conflict and exploration, but also a time of unexpected alliances and cultural fusion. Number 10. King Cnut the Great, a man who, even by Viking standards, achieved a level of power and influence that was extraordinary. a ruler who presided over a vast North Sea empire and whose reign saw a remarkable fusion of Viking and English traditions. This is the story of Cnut the Great, also known as Canute. Canute was born into Danish royalty, the son of Sweyn Forkbeard. Swen's conquests had laid the groundwork for his son, having claimed the thrones of Denmark and England. Upon Swen's death, the English throne reverted to Ethelred the Unready, but Knut was not to be denied his inheritance. He gathered an army and embarked on a campaign to reclaim the English crown. His campaign was a success. By 1016, Canute was the King of England, and by 1018, he had also claimed the crown of Denmark following his brother's death. Yet, Canute's ambitions extended even further. He added Norway and parts of Sweden to his realm, creating what is known as the North Sea Empire. Canute was a king whose rule extended across the sea, a testament to his strategic brilliance and his ability to maintain control over diverse territories. Canute's rule, particularly in England, was marked by a degree of cultural fusion. He embraced English customs and laws, maintained the existing administrative system, and promoted the church. These actions helped legitimize his rule and won him the support of his English subjects. His reign is often remembered for a tale where Canute, in an attempt to rebuke his flattering courtiers, commanded the tide to halt and was unsurprisingly unsuccessful. This story, whether true or not, is often interpreted as a demonstration of Knut's wisdom and his understanding of the limits of kingly power. Canute's death in 1035 marked the end of his empire, as it was divided among his sons. However, his legacy lived on. His reign marked a high point in the Viking Age, a period of relative peace and prosperity, and a unique blend of Viking and English traditions. The saga of Cnut the Great is a journey into a time when the Vikings were not just raiders, but rulers of vast territories. It's a testament to the strategic genius, the political acumen, and the cultural sensitivity of a man who, at the height of his power, ruled over an empire that spanned the North Sea. As we conclude our journey through the sagas of these great Viking leaders, we reflect on their remarkable lives and the enduring legacies they left behind. Their stories are not merely tales of individual accomplishments, but are inextricably woven into the fabric of our shared history. From Ragnar Lothbrok's legendary exploits, Harald Hardrada's ambitious campaigns, Erik the Red's pioneering spirit, Leif Erikson's explorations, Bjorn Ironside's indomitable strength, Sweyn Forkbeard's expansive reign, Ivar the Boneless's strategic brilliance, Harald Bluetooth's unifying influence, Rollo of Normandy's transformational leadership, to Cnut the Great's vast North Sea Empire. These men embodied the spirit of their age and left their mark on the world. They were Vikings, warriors, explorers, and rulers. Their actions shaped nations, their decisions influenced cultures, and their legacies continue to echo through the ages. These 10 Viking leaders remind us of a vibrant and complex period in history, a time when the Norsemen set sail from their homeland and made their presence felt across Europe and beyond. They embody the courage, the ambition, the strategic genius, and the cultural adaptability that characterized the Viking Age. As we reflect on their lives, we gain a deeper understanding of the world they lived in and the world they helped to shape. Their sagas are testament to the fluidity of history, to the potential for change, and to the enduring impact of individual actions. As we step back into our own time, we carry with us a richer understanding of our past, a renewed sense of connection to our shared heritage, and perhaps a touch of that Viking spirit. So, whether you're a historian, a student, or simply someone fascinated by the past, we hope you found this journey through the Viking Age enlightening and inspiring. Until next time, May your own journeys be filled with discovery, understanding, and a sense of wonder. Farewell, until we meet again on another voyage through the annals of history.